So I'd like to just start off with a question for each one to answer, which is, when you think about wearable technology and the benefits that it could bring, so on-body technology, what do you think of and what are you excited about right now?
All right, I'll start. So I've always been excited about wearable computing because the goal is to basically to give you superpowers, so to augment your normal existence. So let you see things you can't normally see, hear things you can't normally hear, remember things that you would normally forget, you know, have this amazing memory, amazing reasoning abilities, X-ray vision, being able to teleport yourself, you know, maybe not physically but virtually to other places. So, and my particular area of expertise is augmented reality. So that's about this kind of magical thing of bringing the digital world completely into the physical with us, rather than having it be this separate experience that's on the other side of a screen.
From an AT&T perspective, actually I should back up a second. My background where I work within the company is really focused on the healthcare vertical. So you know, I see wearables as having enormous potential to do wonders for that specific ecosystem. What I would say is most exciting, though, is if you think about it, what wearables can do is really change how folks manage their health. If you think about today, what happens is you go get your physical, everything's kind of compared against some kind of baseline, and you check it once a year, and you're really being compared against that baseline of what the society says you should be and what range it should be. What wearables allow you to do is really personalize it. So now I can set a baseline not for the industry, but for me. And then when I go get my checkups and when I'm feeding that data to the doctor, they're measuring against what's right for me, not what's right for society. And I think, again, taking that concept just blows me away and really lets me see what the potential truly is.
I agree. I mean, the potential is where we're at with it right now. In what I do, and I teach classes in fashion marketing and fashion design and all of those areas, but right now it's what are the future possibilities? Everybody can't figure this out, and they're looking into it. So I think what the excitement is, what is the future and how we do this? And I know in my area, we've really recreated trends and the way we look at everything as lifestyle. We no longer just divide it between home or fashion or whatever it is. It's lifestyle, because all of this is going to depend on what's going to happen in our lifestyle. So that's the way we're looking at everything now.
So I'll start with a question kind of directed towards Kevin. When we start to put these things on our body, which a wearable means we put it on our body, whenever I work with Dr. Thad Starner, who helps develop part of Google Glass, and I remember having conversations with him a while back and telling him that whenever you put something on your body, you're assigning yourself to a tribe, or you're representing yourself, and when you wake up in the morning and you put on a certain pair of clothes, you're saying, this is who I want to be that day. So with wearable technology now hopefully becoming a mass market thing, how's a good way for it to enter into the fashion engine or the fashion mechanism, marketing-wise?
Perfect example is we've discussed with the Google Glass and using influencers in the industry, like a fashion designer, Diane von Furstenberg, or Anita Garcia from a Project Runway or Elle Magazine, getting them on the correct people, and all of a sudden now everybody's talking about what is this, what are we going to do with all of this, and we were just discussing earlier, it's in so many aspects in the fashion industry that we're trying to figure it all out, and you said what, the trends of it, it's just getting it on the right influencers, the right people, and then we, you know, in my business as trend forecasters, everybody starts to talk about it, and if we start telling everybody that all the designers that this is, you know, it's like when we predict colors, these are going to be the 10 most popular colors. If we tell everybody this is what you need to start doing, then people are going to start doing it because they're kind of directed and told they got to do it.
So going into that, and this can be for everybody, I know some of the things, even with glass, some of the technology has been there for a long time, so why don't you think that it's gotten into the industry up until this point? Like, or not the industry, but the mass market? Is it?
Well, so I can speak to that because I've been doing wearable research for like 15 years and working closely also with Thad Starner, who started wearing a computer 20 years ago. So, it's kind of funny for us to see things suddenly emerging that a lot of people think is new, and it's like, we did that 10 years ago. But we couldn't make it a reality, and there were a couple of reasons. One was the lack of technology. 10 years ago, you just couldn't make this stuff small enough, cheap enough, with a long enough battery life. So we had ideas that we just couldn't realize with technology. But I also think that it took a cultural change. And I think the smartphones becoming so predominant in our lives and social media becoming such an important part. And I think people started viewing the idea of wearable computing in a different way. I think if we had talked about these things to people, or we were talking about it 15 years ago, and I think people were more hesitant, whereas now it's just kind of like the right time.
It's also, what you're saying, it's an education. I know in my industry, before I was at SCAD, I traveled the world working with all kinds of textile mills, and this was a big thing 11, 12 years ago that people were trying to understand, but they didn't understand how to do it. They would ask me questions, and that's how actually I met Clint years ago in research and trying to find people to help textile companies in different countries to figure out how to use this. And then they're asking me all these, how do we implement wearables and do all of this, but then how do we clean them? How do we dry clean them? What goes on with it? How do we keep this going? So there's a lot of confusion in what they want to do and where they're going to go with all of this. And it's an education process right now. It's really a massive education process.
Craig, you brought up healthcare.
Sure.
And I know personally of a whole bunch of wearable healthcare items that are starting to hit the market, but why don't you walk us through how you see wearables maybe becoming more of a mainstay within the healthcare market?
Sure. So we're starting to dip our toes into this now. If you walk into an AT&T store, you're going to see Fitbit, Jawbone, things like that. So I think the opportunity now that we're seeing is really in that consumer play, and when you look at the consumer, what are they willing to pay for? And fitness has really caught on, and we see, again, this, I run into them every day, just new ideas coming in this space of really cool, innovative technologies that people are actually starting to buy and really adapt into their daily lives. Two other areas we're starting to see also is personal emergencies. So being able to put a wearable on your elderly mother and keep her secure when she's at home. In the past, that was the help I fallen and I can't get up, which was the button that you had to yell to a box in your house that was plugged into a POTS line. And now with technology, you take that same concept, you you smart it up, and you put it on a little device that you can wear that can do a lot more than just connect you to a call center, but can detect if you fall, it can put GPS in it, you can track people with it. So I think, again, the cost of technology is there now. We're seeing a huge opportunity. We just branded our own product in this space, the AT&T Ever There, that we're going to start selling. So obviously our company believes highly that there's a market for that type of wearable. The third one we're, again, putting in our stores as of last month are the smart locators. So being able to put something on your child. So we have a Philip watch that we announced, which is essentially a smart watch for like a 5-year-old, where they're able to easily reach mom or dad or somebody else they have in that device, as well as certain safety features you can bake into these things that can tell if the child's not where they're supposed to be. Can do some recording of audio around the child. If you feel like they're in trouble, you can actually pick that up through the cloud. And we have an Amber Alert GPS device, which is in the same vein, so providing that connectivity and that technology to provide a level of safety for your child that you can monitor. So those are kind of the three immediate opportunities because people are willing to pay for them. I think where the market's going, and this gets into more of the medical space, is being able to use wearables for monitoring patients, and when they go home from the hospital, how do you pick up those readings? And we're getting there, and there's a lot of drivers to make that happen that are slowly being implemented into society, but we still have a long way to go before that really takes hold and really hits the mass market.